Hope y'all are doing well. Another one of my off-ball scheduled live streams because in reality I'm up at 5 a.m. Actually, we were up at 4. That was my wife's fault. Her work called her at 4 and she got up, and that was pretty awful for both of us. She was up again early, and I'm up at 5, so I was right behind her anyway. Uh, yeah, my schedule's garbage for the next month at least. And but I have a job and I get paid and the checks don't bounce, so I can't complain too much, right? Uh, I saw a very cool, before I get into the topic, I saw a very cool video today. It was a old Hindu, I guess like a preacher or priest or theologian. I don't know what they're called, so correct me in the chat. And hey, what's going on, militant? Well, he was talking to an audience, and he says, the things in our life that we think are important are not important. And I'll have to do another video on this. But he said, for example, let's say tomorrow half of your money is gone, and your mind says, I want to die. So he says, hold your nose and stop breathing, and in about 60 seconds, you will pass out because your body and reality. Hey, Niels. Hey, Coffee. Hey, Sergeant. What's going on? Hey, Joe. He said, you'll wake up with a terrible hangover and realize that you actually wanted to live. And he said, all these things we think are important, although sometimes painful, are simply accessories to life. And life is why we do what we do. And he had a better explanation. I think I kind of slaughtered what he was saying, but I find it funny. He was like, yeah, if you think you don't want to live, just like hold your nose shut, and when you pass out and wake up, you'll realize that, yeah, living is cool. And Sergeant, I couldn't see, the name went by, so, and anyway, I'm driving, I probably shouldn't read the chat. But anyway, this morning I saw really, and this is why I put Yikes as my title today, I heard part of a news report from here in, I think it's in Texas or in Louisiana, where apparently a school administrator of some type, some kind of teacher, hey, Southern Tier, school administrator, some kind of teacher, advisor, whatever, I caught bits and pieces because it was breaking up, was arrested for molestation of some type. He abused a kid, or she abused it, because it could be a woman too. I don't know what's up with the 25 or 30-year-old women who are teachers having sex with little boys and little girls. Like, that's, I'm sure there've always been, you know, the teenage boy having a fling with a teacher or something out there, but there's some crazy shit going on lately. But anyway, this person molested someone and they got busted. And the cops went and arrested the person, and they went to jail, and then pending the trial, they were put out on bail, and the person never showed up. And I have to confirm this story. I want to start with that. Hey, Coffee again, Neil. Hey, Farmer Son. I have to confirm the story because I was getting bits and pieces off the radio. But apparently the person, after posting bail and filling the paperwork, whatever, they show up for the hearing, the lawyer shows up and their client is not there. And so they're like, where's your client? The lawyer's like, I have no idea. I haven't been able to reach this person. And so, of course, the police start looking, and they find the individual in the trunk of a car. I think it was their car, but they were in the trunk of the car, and they had been strangled to death, according to the coroner. But here's the thing, the family of the abused child was actually on a cruise. They took a cruise to get the kids away from the situation. So they were physically not in the state. They were on a boat. And like, they looked at friends and family, and nobody they looked at lacked an alibi. But the abuser, the sexual abuser, who actually may have admitted, you know, they were going for a hearing because they admitted they did whatever, or they had the evidence, was found strangled. Not shot, not, you know, knife or run off the road or something. That was personal. But the dad of the child, the mom, the siblings, and like the one cousin they suspected was actually on deployment, and he's like, I'm in another country with the military, like, you want my orders? And he provided a copy of his orders, and they're like, he was out of the country. Like, basically they can't. But yeah, all of a sudden this person went away. Hey Jason, hey Love and Life. And this goes to what I was talking about a few days ago, where the guy who choked out that poor lady with the hey JRC Homestead, hey Pennsylvania, choked out that poor lady in the Bronx with a belt, and then abused her and stole her purse. And then the neighborhood found the guy and beat his ass, and the cops had to protect him from basically a vigilante mob. People are taking it in their own hands. Right now, like in New York City, cops no longer have qualified immunity the way they did. Now, whether you like or don't like the way police do things in certain cities, there was always the assumption that the cop was acting within bounds pending an internal investigation where they made sure the boxes were checked and that whatever happened was per protocol. But now cops can get sued individually, so the cops are like, fuck it. Y'all are gonna sue me and take my house after my 10 years or 15 years on the force because I got in a fist fight and hurt someone. I'm just gonna show up after and find the guy later, and the cops are in a very defensive mode. But now the criminals know this and they're just running amok, and we're starting to see a lot, hey farmer, a lot of people going, yeah, no, we're just going to take care of it on our own. And so again, I could only get part of that story, and I need to find the base story. And if I can, I'll put it on my community post so you guys could read it. But what I got was that the person molested kids in the school, was found guilty or admitted to it or whatever, and never showed up to the hearing. And when they went looking, they found the individual had been garroted and thrown in the trunk of a car in a parking lot. And I don't know if it was the abuser's car or just some random ass car. That would suck. Could you imagine you park your car at like an airport or something because you got to make a trip, and you're like, oh, I'm going to park my car here, and you come back and you drive home and it starts to smell, and you open your trunk and there's a dead dude in there? Like, that would traumatize the shit out of me, because I'm like, I didn't put that guy there, but there's a dead cat in my trunk, and that's screwed up. So I'm assuming the car belonged to the pervert. I don't know, but this is a lot of, that's something that would happen. Hey, Winning Street, yeah, that would something happen to me. All right, well, I had a crackhead show up in my shop truck. I was on a field visit. I actually had to run into the field to sub in for a field engineer, even though I'm the older guy, right? I should be like in the office and having coffee. They're like, hey, you kind of know this and nobody else does. Can you go out there and help the young guy? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. They gave me a shop truck, and I got a hotel in Bossier City, Louisiana. But I didn't get the nice one. I got like the quickest one I could get, and it was right by the railroad tracks. And I get up in the morning, and in my shop truck, in the bed, was a passed out crackhead or meth head. I don't know what he was taking. He was taking something. And I'm like, yo, homie. And the guy opens his, and I'm like, dude, I gotta go to work, Holmes. You gotta you want some coffee? I can go back in the hotel and get your coffee. No, I'm good. I'll get out. You want me to pull the bed down? Yes, please. I'll pull the bed down. I don't know how he got in there. Yeah, Pennsylvania. That's a t-shirt right there. 911 isn't necessary, but 811 is before you dig. I'm wondering how often this is happening but anyway, the crackhead finally left. But yeah, could you imagine you open the bed of your truck and there's a dead dude in there? A loaded .22 revolver. That's a bonus. I'd be like, yes, I win. I've gone to hotels, and not the more like corporate hotels where it's like I'm there for a meeting and they handle business people. I'm talking like out in the country or in the field. You grab a Holiday Inn somewhere, or like the Kuchukuchuku Inn, because there's no real hotel there. And like at that point, all I want is no bugs in the bed. Like, as long as the room is relatively clean, I'm happy. And I always go through my hotel rooms and I start opening drawers just to make sure there's somebody didn't leave a purse or something. I found flashlights, pocket knives. I find all sorts of stuff. Yeah, true. I'm glad your kids didn't find it. Hey, random. I would not have returned it. I'd be like, when you buy a car, whoever's in the car is yours. Legally speaking, if it was included in the purchase price, it's like the jack and the spare tire. I'm like, oh, I got a spare gun too. Bonus. I'd be keeping that shit. I'd be like, thank you. But yeah, there's been a lot of people just like, no, we're just going to